Our countdown to first pitch continues, and today's stop is Durant. We get to visit with Ron Faubion, the longtime head coach of the Southeastern Savage Storm softball team. Coach, it's always a privilege to get to visit with you. And, I've driven by up and down the street. I actually live close to where the softball field is now, and I've seen the girls out there. It looks like there's a lot going on. Talk about where the program is right now and what it looks like in 2021.
Well, we're very excited to get started, Joey. As you know, with the COVID situation, we're all on kind of pins and needles, deciding if we're going to get to play or not getting to play. We had a real good season started last year, and we got cut short. Our seniors, all of them had graduated. None of them selected to come back, which, of course, somebody along the lines of Shomo, we would have loved to have her come back. But we picked up several kids. We've got 19 on the roster, the largest roster we've got. And that's COVID related too, because a lot of these young ladies are walking on that had scholarship offers, and since that money was taken away for girls who decided to stay an additional year, et cetera. So it's really made it unusual. My gosh, I feel like I'm coaching football team back like I was in high school. There's so many kids out there, but we got a lot of talented young ladies coming in this year. We're really excited, about getting started. I think we're going to have a much better ball club than a lot of people think we're going to have, but we'll find out the first couple of weeks. We go into the tournament over at UT Tyler, and we'll play them in Augustana and Commerce. So we're going to play some really good people early. Mankato up in Emporia. So we'll find out in the first couple of 3 weeks just how good we are, and that's kind of what we like to do before we go into conference play.
That really is a hallmark of your schedule year in and year out, Coach. I mean, you always play a challenging non-conference schedule that leads you into GAC play. We'll talk about that again in just a moment. You bring back Katie Ferrier. Among the players you bring back, Katie Ferrier hit 424 for you. Among the players in the GAC that really had a significant number of at-bats last year, and there weren't that many, but there were a few. She was fifth among GAC hitters last year at 424 and able to put the ball into play for you. Talk about your position players. I'm sure she leads the way.
Oh, definitely. In fact, we're even considering moving her from the 3-hole to leadoff, just give her more at bats. We picked up a lot of new kids. Of course, Katie's at first. Second base, it's down to Kaya Manawi and another young lady from Murray Junior College, CJ Crane. That we've got an All-American kid that's having surgery Wednesday from sideload by way of NEO that was at second, and she's going to be out 2 or 3 weeks. And our shortstop, we moved our second baseman last year over there, and she really looks good. Would be Bailey Beard. At third base, we got one of the premier players once again in the conference in Camry Wallace. Backing her up is Augusta Duty, who had a real good year last year. And then in the outfield, we got a transfer from Murray in left field, Alexis Lambert, who was their leading hitter last year. Center field, we got NCTC's leading hitter and Peyton Streetman. And then right field, we have returning Gracie Orr, who hit close to 400 last year herself. And so we're really excited about that. Catcher, we got a new catcher coming in, Jaylee Durst from Vernon Junior College. She led them in home runs and batting average last year. Will be a freshman. She graduated at midterm, so we're excited about Katie. Got another catcher coming in from Kansas City, Missouri, Lauren White, a big power hitter. So we should be fine there in the position-wise. We're really excited to get started there and should have depth. I mean, we'll have 1 through 9 can swing it, similar to we did in the 2013 club that went a long way, and the 2014 club. And then, as usual, with everybody else say the same thing, it's going to come down to our pitching, and we're hoping that comes around like we think it's going to.
Well, you have to replace Katie McCullough, among other things. You were talking about replacing Shomo. There's somebody in your staff you have to replace, and I know she was big for you last year, but Amberlyn Walsworth is among those that are returning for you as well.
Amberlyn, like you said, has done a great job for us last year. At the end of the year, she was throwing extremely well. She's picked up where she's left off. She broke her left arm in the dorm, but she's back from that now this week, so we're hoping that she can get back in shape. She should be our number one. She was last year when we finished, and she's improved tremendously. And then we brought in junior college pitcher Cheyenne Mayhay. Last year during their 5 weeks of play, she was the national player of the week for those 5 weeks. So we feel like Cheyenne's going to contribute significantly to the pitching staff, and then also she'll probably be our number 3 hitter. Then as far as pitching, we got Ashley Hedrick back. Her dad's a coach over at NCTC, and Ashley has been throwing really well. And then we also got the freshman left-hander as all-stater, Michaela Galloway from Salina. Texas. So we've got some depth there now, and we picked up another transfer, Brooksfield, that may pitch a little bit, but she's more along the infield at this point in time. First time ever I've taken midterm transfers, and we've got 2 of them, and so we're excited about that too.
Well, Coach, it's like you said, it's a whole new year. It's definitely a different year. Visiting with Ron Faubion, the head coach of the Southeastern Savage Storm. And before I let you go, Coach, you talk about the schedule, and as always, it's definitely front loaded with a lot of challenging games. Before you get into GAC play, you're on the road at Harding, you're on the road at Southern Nazarene before you finally come home. First game of the season in Durant is going to be March 9th, and that's the third GAC series taking on East Central. Then that should be a fun series there. But one of the things that stood out to me about the GAC schedule last year, 6-4 in your last 10 games, but the GAC games were all tight. I mean, there really weren't a lot of blowouts either direction. You just played a lot of tight contests. Talk about what that means for the conference now in its 10th season.
Well, Joe, we've improved so much in the last 10 years. As you remember, when we first came in, it was Alvy and myself, Southeastern UAM by well beyond everybody else at that point in time. But everybody's caught up, and in fact, in some instances, they've surpassed us. Arkansas Tech, Southern Arkansas, Harding, all of these people have improved tremendously, and it just makes the conference better off all the way around. And Southern Arkansas was unofficially the number 1 team in the nation last year since they didn't get to play the playoffs, and we're so excited about that. Then a couple of years prior to that, Harding went all the way and got eliminated by the eventual national champion Minnesota Mankato. We knocked out the UCO the year after they won the national championship. So it just shows you how much GAC right now, we're as respected as any conference in the country. And we did that within 10 years, which is saying quite a bit, because that's a big jump. And so we're as well respected as anybody, and that's what we tried to do. And as far as the coaches, we got some outstanding coaches in our conference, and just some really good people to compete against. Unfortunately, as we lost Mike and Alvy over the last 3 years, and they were just great people. Along coaches, they're just great people, and we have the same thing now. And I just look forward to competing against them, and it makes it worth coming to work. You get to play against people like that.
Well, you're one of those outstanding coaches too, Coach. So I appreciate that and appreciate your time today. The Southeastern Savage Storm, according to the preseason coaches poll, picked 5th in the Great American Conference in 2021. Success to you all this season, Coach, and thank you for taking time with us as we count down to first pitch.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you in the conference for everything you do for us.